Yes, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Ginger Runner Live, episode number 233. Is that what it is? If you're seeing and hearing this now, that means you probably aren't running into the issue. For some reason tonight, YouTube has decided that there's an error happening with the live stream. So if you are getting that, just try hitting refresh on your browser or try hitting shift refresh if you run into it during the live show. We're just going to make sure before we actually get into this main show that Kim's live stream is working, that my live stream is working. If you guys are in the chat room, just let us know. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a smiley face and that you can see and hear us and all that stuff. People are saying, there we go. Yay, it's alive. Okay, great. So people are hearing us. But YouTube, for some reason, before the show started.
I still can't hear us. Oh, there we go.
All right, Kim's got us. We're all good. But you might run into an error at some point during this show because YouTube, I think, is the streamies are tonight. We were not nominated this year, but the streamers are tonight, and I think YouTube's live platform is a bit buggy. So I see us, I hear us. The audience is also seeing and hearing. But if you're in the chat room and you hear someone or see someone that's like, what is going on? It's an error. Let them know what to do. I think a hard refresh on the tab in their browser will fix it all. All right, welcome to episode number 233.
We are getting up there. Sorry, I'm so distracted. I was trying to fix this, and then my screen just went like shooting off to the side of my
It's okay. I'll handle all the tech stuff. Kim is in the chat room right now, keeping everyone wrangled and everything like that. Tonight's episode is the first time we've actually really done something like this. I'm pretty excited. Technology is helping us out a little bit tonight, but kind of like punching us in the nuts. We do have a guest joining us from Tennessee, from Big's Backyard Ultra Live. Maggie Guterl, who participated in this event, logged 183 miles, was the sixth person standing out of 70. I can't wait to talk to her about this event because she is still there. She is in the tent that her and Courtney Dauwalter are sharing and crewing together. There's so many athletes that are still there at camp, sort of conversing with each other and everything like that. We've got Maggie live coming to us from Tennessee, so we're going to interview her about her experience, about the people that she's meeting there, everything about Big's Backyard Ultra, which is one of these races that just fascinates us. We're going to tell you all about that in tonight's episode of Ginger Runner Live, episode number 233, which begins
now.
Ginger Runner. Yes, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Ginger Runner Live, episode number 233. Big episode tonight. We're doing something that we haven't really done before. Our guest is coming to us live from the event that not only that she participated in, but other athletes are participating in real time right now. Mm-hmm. The 2018 Big's Backyard Ultra, which is one of these events where we've had guests on in the past who participated in it. Last year's guest, Guillaume, won it. He was the last person standing. So to have an athlete who just participated in it, she logged 183 miles, which is just insane.
So crazy.
But she's still there in the tent. We're going to see in real time as the runners come through finishing a loop, maybe even heading out on the next loop. It's going to be amazing. So our guest tonight, Maggie Guterl, is coming to us live from Tennessee, pending cell reception, because again, it's remote backcountry Tennessee. We're going to do our best with video and audio. It's going to get, hopefully it won't get bad, but we do have her on the line here, and we'll introduce her in just a second. If you are in the chat room and you're running into any sort of live broadcasting issues, which is apparently happening tonight on YouTube, that's okay. Just refresh your browser. It should solve everything. Do a hard refresh on the browser, which is just a shift refresh, at least on Apple computers. And I think PCs are a little bit different, but you guys know the drill. If you have questions tonight, Kim?
As always, you guys, I am in the chat room. If you have questions for our wonderful guest, Maggie, please ask your questions there. We'll be pulling them throughout the hour.
Mm-hmm. I guarantee you there's going to be a ton of questions for Maggie tonight. So bring them, because it's very rare that we get an athlete live from the event as it's taking place in real time. We have some individuals that we like to thank at the top of every show before we get into it, just because they help the show happen. Ginger Runner Live, we don't have sponsors. We basically are like PBS, where our viewers are the ones who support us on a regular basis, and we're able to do these live shows, reviews, films. Everything is possible due to our wonderful Patreon supporters. So everyone who has jumped onto the patreon.com/thegingerrunner bandwagon and has helped us over the last couple of years. It's incredible. If you are not a participant over on the Patreon side, consider it. But 3 individuals in particular at that top tier help us do this week in and week out. First, Chris Lee from Hong Kong. He's a fantastic individual. He does a lot for really great charities over there, but he also showcases the incredible trail community in Hong Kong through Trailblazer, which is his organization, his company. They have a brick and mortar shop now. They have a race coming up in Hong Kong called the Can Run, where you run a 25K loop around the beautiful mountains on trails, and you carry cans of food that you will donate at the finish line. It's a really great cause and a really great event. So big shout out to Chris Lee. He's been supporting us now for a long time. Rick Bjarnason and his company, cheekymonkeymedia.ca. They're a Canadian web design company. They work with clients all across the globe. They just do big stuff, including the gingerrunner.com website, which is going to be released here very, very quickly. But Rick is an ultra runner himself, a badass ultra runner. So big shout out to Rick and helping make this show happen. And finally, Brian Sands, longtime viewer, longtime supporter, ran his first marathon last October, ran his first 50K this summer, training currently for his first 50 miler. His journey is wonderfully inspiring. He's just a great human being. We've had him on the show actually before, right after his 50K. So we always like to give him a big shout out as well. So thank you, Brian, for the continued support. Now, Big's Backyard Ultra. It's a 4.16666 mile loop around Laz's property. If you're not familiar with Laz, he's the race director of the Barkley Marathons, for example.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Big's Backyard Ultra. He is one of those race directors whose events are a little bit naughty, I think is a way of putting it. He has the Vol State race that he does where you're basically running across Tennessee, the long ways. He's amazing. He's a wonderful character, and he does this race called Big's Backyard Ultra on his property, which helps pay for his property taxes, I believe is how it breaks down. But it's a 4.1666667 mile loop around the property, and you repeat this every hour until there's only one runner remaining.
Until nighttime, also.
Well, until nighttime, and then it goes on the road. They switch back between a trail and a road loop. But we'll find out more of some of these specifics with our guest tonight. I'm very excited to bring her back to the show. She's a badass, I think is to put it lightly. She participated in this last year's Barkley Marathons. We had her on the show right after that. I believe this is her first Big's Backyard experience, so we're going to talk to her all about that. Without further ado, coming to us live from her tent at Big's Backyard Ultra in Tennessee, Maggie Guterl.
Yay!
How are you, Maggie?
I'm good. I hope the audio is okay. It started to cut off a little bit for you. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, it is. Sorry,
okay.
I just had to turn your volume up a little bit on my end. But let us know if for some reason, just again, to let our audience know, we are live and the cell signal, we're like relying on the cell towers in the backcountries of Tennessee to like let this interview happen. So we totally understand if you can't hear us, just let us know, Maggie, and vice versa. Regardless, first of all, tell us about what's going on. What is around you? Where are you? What are the current happenings where you are?
Well, it's in about, let me think, math, it's 7-ish minutes now. Courtney might come through, so I'll take you guys on a little tour when that happens, because I'm going to jump out of the tent, but I'm in where we were sharing a crew tent last night, and the night, whatever, I don't know, what is this, the third night?
I also let everyone know, Maggie, how long have you been awake?
Yeah, there's a lot of people asking if you slept.
I slept 3 hours. Once I was done, I couldn't think about anything but going to bed. I think I slept 3 hours, but there's been some naps here and there, but I don't know. I don't feel very with it.
That's okay. I mean, we've had guests on here before, fresh after races and stuff like that, but this is a unique event. What drew you to this event, first and foremost?
Well, I watched the Harvey and Guillaume battle last year, and I was like, I want to try this. And, I really do want to do well at Barkley. So I thought it would be good sleep deprivation training. Because like no one really goes out and does 2-night training runs like consecutively. So this is the best environment to do it. It's well marked. You don't have to make a ton of decisions. So like you can just kind of like experience the sleep deprivation. And I kind of messaged Courtney. I was like, you should do this. And she's like, okay, this is not that hard to convince her. So yeah, we both signed up and we're like, let's beat all the guys. So I don't know, we kind of had this like whole thing to just kind of have fun and run together as long as possible. So that's what we did. And she's still running.
I mean, you ran for 183 miles on the same loop, essentially, between the road and the trail loop. So for you, this is your first time really doing anything like that. What was the experience like when you started, and how did that evolve or change over however many hours that turned out to be for you?
It was like the first couple loops are kind of crowded because no one's going fast. So there's no front or back of the pack. Everyone's just in a line, kind of. There's 70 people started, I think, this year. But it's cool. You get to talk to like a lot of different people because no one's running really fast. So there's a lot of chatting for the first 3 loops. And then it kind of starts to thin out as the day goes on. But really, it took a while to thin out. I mean, people hung in there. I think after 100 was when it was finally like, chunks of people at a time were getting dropped off. Because the trail loop is not. I thought it was okay the first few times. So you get back to the trail loop the second day, it's like where like all these rocks come from. It's very windy. There's a lot of rocks and like it's not flowy, so it's hard on your feet and your body and like So, but then the road, you get to the road and you can just cruise and you can go faster. But the second night, the road was pretty monotonous and really awful. And the first night, it was a totally different experience. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was really fun. It seemed to go really fast. And, the first night, there was a lot more people. The second night, not so much. So, yeah, it's weird how the races evolved. And, like, it's just, like, totally different. Each trail loop was different because it's, like, a different time of day.
Right.
So, and it's really pretty. Lads has a very beautiful backyard.
I remember doing a 12-hour. We've talked about that event on the show a number of times, but I did a 12-hour thinking in advance, I'm not going to like the loop-based race. There's no way I'm going to like doing the same. It was a trail one as opposed to like the typical track loop-based events. I loved it. I found myself loving it because it took like a certain level of concentration kind of out of it. You just kind of get into this rinse and repeat mode. What for you, because you've battled some of the biggest, toughest ultras out there, including Barkley. You've given that a good shot, and I'm assuming you'll go back in the future, hopefully, if you get in. How did this differ from your previous ultra experiences in good and bad ways?
I mean, you don't know when it's going to end, so you can't really be like, all right, I'm going to take a bunch of caffeine and get through the night, because it's the last night. You have no idea. So, like, I don't know. It's just kind of, you do the same thing. And, I mean, I did a couple loop trail races leading up to it, but you knew how hard you could go because, I mean, it's hard to get your brain thinking that, like, it literally does not matter how fast you do the loop. Right. And I still was thinking, I see people, like, I want to catch them. And, like, but I mean, I ran every single loop with Courtney. So we would take turns leading in the trail. This is the only race I'll ever run that long with Courtney DeWalter. Like,
right.
And I think she probably sometimes didn't get the memo that we don't have to be in the front, but like, it's just like this natural instinct to want to like go to the front and just get there, but it doesn't matter. But we paced consistently. Day one, it was 50 to 51 minute laps, and she's still doing that. Like she did it was like clockwork, 50 minutes. And then the road was like 47, I think. She's probably doing them a little faster. I don't know. 45 she'll probably do, maybe. Just trying to watch.
Yeah, she could be rolling in any time.
She could be rolling in any time.
Well, here, I mean, she'll go right by the tent, and then I got to get Kevin up real quick,
I mean, we're literally watching this unfold in real time. Again, Maggie's coming to us live from Big's Backyard Ultra in Tennessee. Maggie managed to get
is something going on?
Something going on, Maggie?
Yeah, I'm on. What's up?
You want to wake Kevin up?
Yeah, I'll wake him. Okay, we're gonna wake Kevin up because. So hold on.
It's about to go down. Stuff's about to happen. Maggie's
Hey,
giving
Kevin?
us like real time. She's waking up Kevin
Courtney will probably be in soon.
in the tent because Courtney's going to be coming in soon. Maggie
Soon.
has been
You're
crewing
okay.
Courtney pretty much this entire event since once Maggie stopped, she kind of turned into crew for Courtney as Courtney would come in. So now Maggie's handing those duties over to Kevin. Kevin's going to pop over and become crew essentially while Maggie does the show. But
Here,
Maggie's
I'll
also
flip you
going to give
guys
us a bit of a tour. Yeah. Now Maggie's outside the
Need
tent
it?
giving us a tour, Biggs.
Let me flip it around. Okay.
There we go. All right. So this is, that's Courtney right there. Courtney comes in.
She's going to sit down. I'll
Yeah.
give her a space.
Give her
But-
space. But we
I'll
just got a
walk you
little
guys
glimpse of
around.
Courtney coming in after the loop there. And we get a bit of the...
Sorry,
It's okay.
phone's going a little crazy here.
So this is kind of the real time.
You guys are on Ginger Runner
Hi,
Live.
Ethan Newberry.
He says, hi, Ethan. Barry. This is Andy.
I'm Andy Lang.
Andy.
Oh, what's
Hold
up,
on.
Andy?
Let me take your... off the headphones and let me know if you guys...
Yeah, we can still hear you. I see bottles of booze. The absolute necessity. Can you still hear us, Maggie?
Here, let's...
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Maggie, you want moonshine?
No, thank you. Hi, Ethan Newberry and Kim.
Hello, Ethan Newberry and Kim.
There's Laz. There he is.
You want some spring water?
I've tasted that spring water, and it is not
like-
not quite water.
I don't know. I got.
Yeah, he's got to watch the clock. But hold on. Let's do a live selfie with Laz.
What is going on the outside world, Ethan? I'm out here, and all of a sudden, my Facebook is like exploded.
It's amazing, Laz. So people are glued to their screens right now. You can't. Maggie, can you?
Yeah, it's hard to hear you. I can hear what you're saying, but I don't think he can. People are glued to their screens. They can't get enough of this.
We're just out on the farm in the middle of nowhere. This is what it's like to be a microbe in a drop of water on a slide, and you can't see the microscope.
So
I did. I've accumulated 22 minutes of sleep already since 3 o'clock Saturday morning.
That is unbelievable.
Hey, but it seems like that's been a while.
yeah, we'll take you on a tour of the camp. How's that? I'll let Laz
Sure.
cheer in Johan and Gavin.
Um,
All right, I'm gonna put the headphones back in.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Johan and Gavin should be back soon.
You can still hear us though, right, Maggie?
Sorry, what'd you say?
You can still hear us though, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh no, here we go.
I always love talking with Laz. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
There's Andy Pearson.
Andy.
Andy Pearson, who we've also had on the show a number of times. He can't hear us currently. And Guillaume Calmettes. Allez. What's up,
Hello.
Guillaume? Hello,
Hey,
Guillaume.
Guillaume.
How are you feeling, my
I'm
friend?
good. I'm feeling exceptionally good.
The rumor,
Relatively good.
the rumor is that you got about 230. I don't have the. I need to bring up the live. Can you bring up the live tracking? 230 plus miles this year, right?
Yeah, I don't even have the exact number actually. I just know I didn't go further than last year.
Right.
But yeah, it was between 225 and 230.
And the rumor is that you have not slept since you finished. Is that also correct?
Yeah, because it's exciting to follow the race.
So how does it feel? I mean, last year you won. Last year with 245 miles, you took this whole thing. How does it feel to now be done? Are you relieved or are you upset? Like, do you wish that you were still out there doing loops?
I'm a bit jealous, to be honest. I mean, what they are doing here is, I mean, it's amazing. And but at the same time, I know that, I mean, for all of them, they are hurting very, very bad. So it's good to be on the other side.
Yeah. There was a rumor that you fell and got injured. Laz posted a Facebook update that you were down. Are you okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, no, so I didn't fail. What happened is that during the night, I developed like kind of a tendonitis on the top of my right foot, and that was okay on the road because when you land, your foot, I mean, it doesn't have to, do like some little twists to because the terrain is perfectly flat on the road.
Right.
But during the day when we switch on the trail, you have a lot of little rocks, and that was a bit more complicated. And at the end, I just couldn't move my foot anymore, and yeah, I was just stuck on the trail.
Is this something that you would ever want to do again? I mean, at this point, you've done nearly 500 miles of Big's Backyard Ultra. Would you go again?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. They I've witnessed all those three guys. I mean, one girl and two guys broke my record. So of course, I want to do it again.
And this is, I mean, you just did a similar event, correct me if I'm wrong, but over in Europe, and it was against Johan, wasn't it?
It was not against Johan, it was against Peter Cromie,
Oh, it
who,
was Peter,
who
that's
was
right.
here. Yeah, and yeah, it was 6 weeks ago in Ireland. So I won the entry by winning last year at Big Backyard.
Wow.
So one of the trophy was an entry to another race like that, and they do the same here. If you, I mean, over there, if you win over there, you can come to a Big Backyard for free.
Is it the same for Barkley? Does Barkley still have an entry for winning?
Oh, of course, yeah. Yep.
And is that also something that was that the reason that you came back to this, was to get another entry?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, that was not the primary reason. I mean, I was very excited because of the field this year, which was exceptional.
Right.
And when you see the numbers, I mean, this is what it was, right? I mean, you had, I don't know, 13 people at 150 miles or something. I mean, it was crazy, the number of people. And I think right now for the three runners still in the race, it must be even more difficult to drop, because when last year I was just myself and Harvey, basically if one of us convince the other that he's better,
right,
then the other guy has a choice: either he continue trying to push, knowing that in the end he will lose anyway, or he can just drop right now. And it's a big relief because you don't have the pain anymore and stuff like that. But today, right now, there are three runners, so they cannot. I mean, it will basically last forever.
Right. I mean, it sounds. I'm just now catching up with the live standings. I have that pulled aside. It looks like Gavin has not arrived yet. Is that correct, or did he come through?
Oh, he came through.
Gavin did.
Did Gavin arrive yet? Oh no, he did not.
Okay.
He did not.
Johan and Courtney came through. Still waiting on Gavin.
As a matter of fact, he's just arriving right now.
Oh.
That's awesome. Oh, good camera, nice. So here's this is actually a Pacific Northwesterner, Mr. Gavin Woody. He's been on the show a number of times as well. He's my dark horse pick. I think he's the one that I'm like. Go ahead, Guillaume.
He's amazing. I mean, he told me his story. So here's Gavin.
Yeah.
Good job, Gavin!
Look at that guy. That's amazing. I can't believe it. They're moving so well.
Yeah, here's again.
258 miles.
Yep, pretty impressive.
Incredibly impressive. They're at our loop 62. Race time is over 50 hours at this point. That's more than 2 days. They're over 2 days of nonstop cumulative time. Yeah. 2 days of running, no sleep. I mean, yeah, for sleep, Guillaume, you've done this now a number of times. You kind of know the game. What is the sleep practice for some of these competitors?
So I know, for example, Gavin, he does a lot of self-supported adventure, and he developed a technique.
Your hand is covering the camera, Guillaume.
Oh, my hand, sorry.
There we go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I have to be right-handed now. Okay.
You can hold it from here.
Okay. Yes, I can do that.
There's not a lot of sleeping had. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, sleep deprivation. I mean, how to manage the sleep. So I know, like, Gavin, for example, I mean, he has a special technique like the one that people in boats do when they do those long traverse where they have to sleep like 15 minutes at a time.
Right.
So he knows how to do that, which is pretty nice for this kind of event.
Wow.
So I know he banked some sleep early on. Johan Steen also has been sleeping like 3 to 5 minutes at a time, almost every time. So that's pretty good. I have no information about Courtney. Hopefully she can sleep too, but eventually, yeah, sleep will be a big factor in who will be the last one standing.
So it's coming down to the point where we know that mileage isn't really, it's not going to be who can run the longest. It's who can stay awake the longest, right? Doesn't it come down to sleep deprivation essentially?
Yeah, it will be like that, I guess, or injury,
Right.
I mean, the trail is pretty technical. The road is uneventful. It's a very boring road, but the trail is very, very technical. So, yeah, just a twist of an ankle or something, and your race is over.
And basically what happens now is the runners come in as you did each and every loop and as Maggie did each and every loop. You get as much food, sleep, and kind of relax as you can until the loop starts again, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can show you, for example, a setup. So that's, let me try to find the button.
There we go. We're going to switch. Yeah, we're going to switch the camera around here. And then there we go. Oh.
Yeah, so that's, okay, I'll do that again.
Remember, Guillaume was awake for days.
Yeah.
And he has not slept.
Okay, that should work. Yeah.
There we go. Yep.
Yes, you see here, for example, you have one runner and he has 2 crew members.
Okay.
And
is that Johan or
yeah,
Gavin?
I mean,
it looks like
that's Gavin.
Gavin.
That's Gavin. And yeah, they provide everything the runner needs, and that's the same routine all the time. So basically, what you do is before the runner leaves the loop, leaves for a new loop, you ask him, "Oh, do you need anything in particular for next loop or not?" And we are at the point where the runner actually don't know what he will need or not. So you make a decision because the thinking is not very straight right now for all of them. So the crew are a big help in the sense that, they tell you what you need right now.
Got it. In this case, what is your opinion on how they're feeling? Are they all still looking very strong? Is this going to go through the night, or are there weaknesses, or is someone getting sleepy? Kind of what are you seeing?
Oh, we see some trash talk in the call start tour, of course. Everyone wants to impress. That's an important moment that I want to show you. So it means you've heard those 3 tweet.
Yep.
It means there is 3 minutes before the next start.
Got it.
And in 1 minute, you will have, so that's Laz who does that. In 1 minute, he will do that again to stipulate the runners that they have to get ready and go into the goal.
That's amazing. We're seeing some live questions here from the chat room as well, which I think are like perfectly relevant for what we're seeing and hearing. Again, this is Guillaume Calmettes. I added his name there because he's using Maggie Guterl's phone. But Guillaume and Maggie are coming to us live from Big's backyard in Tennessee right now, happening in real time. And we're about to see them start loop 63, I believe. But I see a question here from Aaron Davis. Do you see that, Kim? Go ahead.
Yeah, Aaron Davis asked, what's the weather been like over the last 50 hours?
Has it played a role at all?
So the race started under the rain. So at the beginning, the trail section was very, very muddy.
Okay.
And it played a role in the sense that the loop was very slow. So a lot of weak runners got out early because of that.
Okay.
But now, it's a very nice weather. The night is not that cold. The first 2 nights were freezing. It was 32 degrees in the middle of the night, which was crazy cold, especially for someone from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But so heat management was a big factor too for the night. But the weather now, it's beautiful. Like during the day, it's not too warm. It's a perfect running condition. and during the night everything is clear. So it's pretty cool.
And Darren in the chat room is saying, I can't imagine crewing for this. It's almost as hard as running it. Do you have a set crew, and is that the case? They're out there just as long as you guys are, right?
So I'm with Courtney right now.
Hey, Courtney Dewalter! Yay!
Crush
it, Courtney! Crush it! Crush it! Crush it!
Good to see you guys.
You
Good
too.
to see you.
Say she has to go somewhere.
They have 1 minute, right?
Yeah. So 1 minute. So Courtney, as usual, she enters the coral first. Maybe intimidating strategies. I don't know, to show other people that she's ready whenever they are.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We saw that she ran her fastest loop 2 loops ago. Is she putting the hammer down? Is she, proving to these guys that like she's gonna take it?
Maybe. I mean, Maggie might know better than I do about. Oh, it will start. Let me see.
Yep, here we go.
Show you the starts.
Go.
Three runners to the night.
That's amazing.
Again and again.
They just started loop number 63, hour 51. Crazy. So watching them run out there, you see, do they have the ability to, like something that happens at Barkley, the runners can, once they start the loop, they can't take any more aid. But if they wanted, they could stop and sleep and stuff like that. Could the runners run out and sleep for 10 minutes, set an alarm, and keep going?
Oh, yeah, definitely. As long as you, cross the finish line before the hour, you can do whatever you want. I mean, of course, you cross the finish line before the hour and you do the correct trail. Yeah, that's basically the only 2 conditions. If you want to sleep in the middle of the trail, feel free to do it.
Could you sleep? So let's say you finish a loop in 50 minutes. You have 10 minutes to start. Could you sleep 20 minutes and start that loop 10 minutes late?
No,
or do you have to start
it? So what happens is you have to be in the starting coral when the start is given. So you could, for example, be in the coral, the start is given, and you just sleep in the coral. That's a possibility.
Okay.
But in that case, that removes 10 minutes already of your loop, for example. But you cannot start after a loop has started, because it means basically that you refuse to go to the next loop.
John Kelly in the chat room says, no one would ever do that, Ethan. I don't know, John. Maybe someone wants to sleep for 10 minutes and they extend that nap to 15 minutes. John Kelly of Barkley fame.
Yeah, I'm like, because that's what he did.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. For those who don't know, John Kelly started the 5th loop. Man, it is all mush in my brain at this point. But he started, I believe, the 5th loop in 2016 and slept on the side of the trail, just outside of camp, which I think was a brilliant strategy. Go ahead.
There's a question for Guillaume from Ed in the chat room. Ed says, Guillaume finished 1 loop with only 15 seconds to spare. What happened that loop, and were you worried about making the cutoff?
Yes, I was worried of making the cutoff. So what happened after we switched back to the trail? At one point, I was running with Courtney, and I tell her, hey, I cannot lead anymore. You have to go in front of me because my energy level is very low. Suddenly, I kind of hit a wall, and I was moving very, very slowly. And on the loop after, I did a 58, 53 or something like that. And then the loop after that, it was a 59, 47. But just because it was energy level super low. And then, I don't know, when I crossed the finish line, everyone was cheering on me. It was super exciting. So I got excited right away. And on the next loop, I just got carried away and did 48. So in a sense, spectator saved me for a few more laps. That was fun.
I'm trying to grasp the the strategy. So let's say you are going into, I mean, everyone goes into this thinking, how far can I possibly go? Even I'm sitting here going, I want in. For the last 2 years, I've talked about this event, and I really want to try it. I just want to see how far I can go.
Guillaume's laughing at you.
Guillaume is laughing. He's like, ah. What are some of the strategies that help individuals get through those lows where they're doing a 59-minute lap? Like, what are the strategies? Is it food? Is it sleep? Like, what do you do?
I mean, so the first rule is if you sign up for this race, don't have a goal, because that's something that can help you. Of course, if you say, oh, I want a 50 mile or I want 100 miles, but the problem is that as soon as you will hit that goal, then the race become a success and you will just drop, right? So I always tell, I mean, I told a lot of people, if you sign up for this race, you can have a dream but not a goal. And the other thing, to answer your question, is that it's very easy to get prepared for 4 mile, right? I mean, you know what you need. You need a bit of food, you need a bit of water, for example, and you need like your shoes ready, etc., etc. So you only have to focus on those 4 next mile, and if you do that all the time, I mean, the mileage adds up, and you cover a lot of ground, which is pretty cool.
It's amazing to see what you did last year, what you did this year, and what the runners who are still out there are doing. You've seen this.
They are impressive.
Yeah, you've seen this event now for a couple of years. You're familiar with it. How did seeing Courtney and Maggie and these females that are they're just crushing it? How has that changed the atmosphere around camp? Like, are people rooting, for Courtney because she's obviously going to make a big difference
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, people love Courtney, me included. A lot of people are rooting for her, which is great. But I mean, I don't really care about like the gender of the 3 runners right now. I know that those 3 right now that are showing up every loop and doing what they do, they're amazing. I mean, male or female.
Yeah.
But I think also that that would be good. That a female win, because maybe that will allow more female to try running and make them aware that even if you are a female, don't listen to what people say. You can do amazing things, right? And I think actually that female have a higher pain threshold, and that's a race made for them. So it's pretty cool.
Guillaume, man, it is awesome to talk to you after.
Yeah, I'm sorry if whatever I say doesn't make sense. I mean,
it's making perfect sense. You think you're probably not, but the reality is you are very coherent for being awake for more than 2 days. Yeah. We'll get Maggie back on. I want to make sure that we touch base with her and crewing Courtney and stuff like that. Guillaume, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
Yes, thank you for. Merci beaucoup. Sorry. Get you back on.
Okay.
There we go.
That was a big background expert.
We're getting a little bit of connection issue, Maggie. Just let me know when you can hear me.
Yeah. Okay, let me go back in the tent where it was good before. Oh, Kevin's on the phone. Let's go. How is it right here?
Yeah, that's much better. Sorry, we lost Kim. Kim had to go take care of Gus. Gus was jumping on us as we were doing the live stream. One thing at a time, including making sure that we get to see Maggie again. Maggie, what did you think of that interlupal period there? You saw all 3 athletes come in. You got a chance to kind of sit down and kind of scope everything out. How did the 3 look? At this point, it's Johan, Gavin, and Courtney. How did they all look?
They look kind of the same. They're all just. You could tell everybody's pretty exhausted, but they don't show any signs of impending disaster. They're not all getting in. They're not getting in 30 seconds before the time cutoff or anything. So everybody's running their planned, probably a planned time, and pace on the road, because that's easier to do, I think, than on the trail.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
What's been your?
I'm crewing for Courtney, but I love Johan. He's great. I got to talk to Gavin and learn what a badass he is. And, I mean, the guy's no stranger to like sleep deprivation and the things he's done. You know, like the Arrowhead 135 he's won, and I mean, I'm sure you can name more of his accomplishments. So yeah, like who knows? And Courtney is a good head about it. Like it could be anyone's game. You know, anything can happen.
I think that's what's so exciting.
It doesn't matter. They're all like awesome, right? Like it's crazy.
There was
62 hours.
62 hours, which is it's insane to think about being awake that long, let alone being awake and running 4-mile loops every hour that long. You mentioned earlier that you just felt so honored to be in such great company. I feel like you are so deserving of being in that company, and like to even have you on the show coming to us from Biggs is such a wonderful, wonderful pleasure. 183 miles Maggie was able to log down, which is insane if you think about it. She was the 6th person standing. I don't even know how to phrase it. The 6th to last person standing. However that ends up phrasing down. I want to pull up. Where is her? Sorry, Maggie. I'm just going to pull up the amount of time that you were out there. 44 hours, just under 2 days in its entirety. Do you see it? Right here, 44 hours.
Oh, that's right. Because I knew I had 4 laps to go to get to 200, and I was trying to get there.
Because basically I
realized,
the math works out. Yeah, 24 hours, 100 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, that last night loop. I mean, it was fine until the second loop, and then my IT band, which I don't usually have problems with, started like just getting really stiff, and like I was just trying to like stride, which was working the night before to kind of like loosen it up, and it wasn't working. And eventually Laz came to our tent and was like, Maggie, I have a hip stress fracture from LazCon. So I've noticed your gait deteriorated over the last 12 hours. He's like, please don't do anything. This isn't worth it for like, if you think you have some actual problem. And I said, no, I think it's just, I need to stretch and whatever. And it's not a stress fracture or anything. So, yeah, he's the evil genius, but he doesn't want you to injure yourself for this race. But yeah, eventually I couldn't move fast enough, and I started the loop, and I couldn't even run down the hill. So I tried to walk a little bit, and then I don't know, I was like so delirious, and I thought about just laying on the side of the. Well, there's no side of the road. There's no shoulder, so you just lay on the road, just to like think about it for a minute and rest my eyes and like figure out how I could get moving, and then. I started walking back up the hill, and I was like, I'm done. You know, I could have tried to like make it to the turnaround.
Yeah.
But I knew it wasn't going to happen. And so I walked back up the hill, walk of shame. And then, yeah, I wanted to tell them because it was, like 5 of them all running, and they were looking for me, but they'd already gone down the hill too fast, and so they were looking for me thinking I wasn't going to make it, but I was already back there. So yeah, that's it. And
I mean, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. I'm going to ask what's one of your favorite takeaways and one of your like one of the down moments of the event. Like what was for you probably the hardest moment of doing 4.1 mile loops for 44 hours? What do you think was the lowest for you?
The whole second night, from that second loop on, I could not improve. I was like miserable. I couldn't focus. My eyes couldn't focus. Like I couldn't get my eyeballs to look at one thing. They were just crisscrossing. And I don't know, a couple of times I thought I could get through it, but it was just like constantly like I just didn't know. I was trying to go one loop at a time. And eventually every loop was getting like slower and slower.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I don't have any time to sleep. And all I want to do is shut my eyes for a minute. And like my legs are just getting worse. And I don't know, that the night loop, the first night was awesome. Like Courtney and I ran, we decided where we were going to walk and where we were going to run. So we both just put headphones in. And then we would walk. We didn't even have to talk to each other. Just walk when we got to the walk spot, and then run, whenever. And so we did. And the night went by so quickly. And like, it was fun. Got to listen to music, and then you get back to the trail, and it's different. And so yeah, I mean, like actually, that was probably the easiest 100 I've ever done. Which is weird, you know. And then you get to 150. You know, once we hit the road, the second night, that's the farthest I've ever gone in my life. And that's kind of like what hit me. Like, I'm running with these people on the road on the second night, and I'm like, all these people have gone so far and for so many nights, and like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I can't stay awake. I was like, wow. Like David Johnston, he has done that crazy Iditarod sled thing, and
Yeah.
him and Gavin actually did it. They ended up doing the whole thing together
I
for
remember
6
that.
days, 355 miles or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, his stomach turned. I mean, and David's not like the fastest guy, but he, you know, he's like steady and, you know, like you don't need to be fast. But he had stomach issues, and so like, you know, you get too slow on a lap, you're done.
I just fathoming the distance is one thing, but fathoming the distance with sleep deprivation, because you're really, like Guillaume was telling us a bit about the micro naps that some of these guys are able to do. Like Gavin's trained to do micro naps. Courtney has proven her ability to run 200 plus miles with 2 minutes
Right.
of sleep. Were you utilizing any of the micro nap strategy, you know, sitting down for 5 minutes, getting the shut eye and waking back up, or was that just not even possible for you?
Yeah, I tried. I don't think it was doing much. I don't know how deep, if Courtney's actually fallen asleep on any of the naps she's taken. Maybe, I think tonight we have it dialed to where she's going to come in, take 5 minutes immediately. We have a little sleep station set up, and then, you know, we got other things. But I think she's going to be so tired, she's going to be out, and some of those naps have to help her. Johan's out cold the second he gets in.
Yeah.
He's doing really well. He had like a crazy travel story getting here, and was like turned around from Sweden on the plane. So he spent like 2 sleepless nights getting here, and then ended up driving from DC somehow. So like, he's like still running. That's insane. I got a crappy night of sleep at the hotel the night before the race. I think I slept 3 hours, because don't stay at the Vista Inn in Murfreesboro. It's really loud.
Well, everything, Murfreesboro definitely has some loud places for sure.
Yeah.
For you, and from maybe what you've heard, obviously when there is a last person standing, that last person gets entry into Barkley, and it sounds like a couple other races, and there are some perks involved in being that last person standing. Have you heard, is the goal with Johan, Gavin, or Courtney to do Barkley? Is that why they're doing this, or are they doing this purely to prove to themselves and others, you know, what the human body can do?
Yeah, I think the latter. I mean, the Barkley entry is a nice perk, but to be honest, like, I think they earn the right. You know, well, Laz will make that decision, but I think they're all earned his respect. So
yeah,
I think they all have a pretty good chance if they apply to getting in. Plus, Johan's done it before, so
yeah, he's been on that.
You know,
list.
he's done really well there. So, but yeah, you know, Courtney never says no to like a certain race. Tell her anything, she's interested in doing it. So
that's been part of the joy of following her and following you, Maggie, because you've just proven how badass of an athlete you are. We are live again with Maggie Guterl from Tennessee at Big's Backyard Ultra. She's literally standing in front of the tent outside. There's the rest. There's Laz back there, the whole timing crew, everyone who's been helping along this entire weekend. I just want to make sure I do a shout out to the timing crew and the people who are staffing this event, because they've been out there just crushing the live streaming, like updates with the runners and stuff like that for days. It's not easy work, and they've been just nailing it. It's been fantastic. Maggie, before we move into go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say there's a rotating group of guys back there with Mike and Bill Schultz, and you know, they're pretty entertaining, and they really definitely add to the ambiance. That's for sure.
No doubt. We have a couple live questions. Of course, I want to get to Maggie some live questions here, but we also are going to move into a post show with Maggie. We'll keep her just for a little bit and maybe let her sleep because I imagine that's something that's on her high list of priorities. But Maggie, we've got some live questions from the chat room. Kim, go ahead.
We also have Ryan in the chat room who confirmed that Titus is listening to this live stream right now.
Ryan and Titus, they're listening to the live stream.
I bet Ryan said he didn't think I was going to come home. And I was like, well, I think it's up to Courtney now.
I mean, this could go long. This could go for days from now. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Question from Nathaniel in the chat room. He asked, you accumulated 183.334 miles. You've run and finished high in a lot of races. Where does this effort rank among your past races? Sorry.
Yeah, that was definitely the hardest thing I think I've done.
Wow.
I mean, that was the longest low, and yeah. I mean, I guess people go in with different goals. So, a lot of people drop out at certain, benchmarks. But my goal is to stay on for a long time, as long as I possibly could. And that second night was definitely really hard.
I don't know if I missed this earlier. You can stop me if I did. Deb Hamberlin in the chat room wanted to know, prior to this, what was the farthest and longest time that you've run?
It was 146 in a 24-hour event in Italy. So
you decimated that.
Yeah. Well, Courtney's was like 2:38 at Moab, and she's already past that too. So, I mean, PRs for everyone.
I mean, that's also what makes me so intrigued by this event. It's like what separates it from a typical track event is those track events. It's the same track. It's flat. This is undulating. You have a little bit of trail, a little bit of road. You kind of rotate between that. The terrain changes. Also, most of the track events that I know of, there are some that are kind of endless, but most of them are like, here's a 4-day event or a 6-day event. There is no end, essentially. It is until the last person is standing. And I remember from last year having Guillaume on, and I know, Maggie, that you were there, that you kind of know how this played out, but the mind games and the jokes and stuff sort of start to come in towards the end. I remember hearing Guillaume talk about how they were kind of playing mind games of who was going to start, who was going to give up first, when it came down to the last two people. I have no idea what's going on out there amongst these three remaining people,
right.
If they're even talking, if there's any of that sort of camaraderie, or if it's like, we got this, or if it's like, I got this, you don't. Have you seen any of that, Maggie, out there?
They're all pretty much running by them. The three of them are running by themselves. So Courtney's been coming in first, and then Johan and Gavin been switching off. But I ran with Johan a little bit, especially last night. We just would run next to each other because I needed someone to pace off of. I was slowing down.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say much, but we would keep swerving into each other because we couldn't run in a straight line. But Gavin did come in once, and he announced that his legs were just starting to loosen up. So I think he was playing the game a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. Is this an event that you would do again?
Yeah. I'm already thinking about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
You're
but
I
got to run it and then crew it. So now I know in one shot what both sides are like.
Yeah.
I'm in awe. You inspire me, Maggie Guterl, and we've had you on the show before, and I think I've told you this 1,000 times. You were such a badass, and the last three remaining runners are also badasses. Gavin, Johan, and Courtney DeWalter are all out there. We have interviews with Courtney and Gavin. I haven't had Johan on the show yet, but we've had Maggie, of course, on the show, and Guillaume and Andy Pearson, all people that have been out there. You can go check out some past archive episodes with these individuals to get an idea of who they are. I think this is going to go through the night. We're going to wake up tomorrow, and there might be 2 people in the morning, but I'm thinking 3 people. They're all so stout.
Yeah, Purposeful in the chat room says, I'm calling it. Court wins at 345 miles. I'm going to go grab a couple beers at the pub down the street.
He's like, I got to take a break. And that's the thing, the ultra running world, and you don't know this, Maggie, because I know that you're kind of in this bubble right now. It's what it's like when you're at these events. But like the ultra running world is just like kind of freaking out. This is such a cool thing to follow.
Yeah, I remember following last year.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I like being over here instead.
Go ahead.
Oh, before we go, Maggie, you were running this for yourself, but you were also running this for another reason, right? Do you want to tell the viewers?
Yeah. So, running is a selfish sport. So I thought, like, why don't I give this like a little extra motivation and raise money for a charity that like my friend Greg Armstrong founded. And then there's another charity his daughter heads up, and the first one's Run for Water. And they build wells for villages that don't have running water, or build wells for individuals. And there's a lot of people in Tennessee, actually in Appalachia, that don't have running water. So they'll go there and they'll set up this well, and it will change like the village, just as having running water. They don't have to go down to the river. And then also 84 days. And that is, the average number of days that women in like Uganda, Nicaragua, places where women don't have access to feminine hygiene products, they can't go to school. So this is they kind of get them education, also self-defense. Because Uganda's I think one particular place where women are gotta know how to defend themselves. And there's more on the website. I'm rambling, and but it's
we actually have it up on screen right now underneath your name.
Okay.
Runforwater.net.
And I also just tweeted it out as well. So
yeah. If you are watching this live and you want to help out Maggie's amazing cause that she was running for, there's a lot of information on that website. It's a fantastic cause. She wasn't just doing this for herself. She was doing it for a really fantastic organization. So check it out, runforwater.net/donate.html. Very easy to see there over on the side of the screen. So please, Ginger Runner Live audience is amazing. So
yeah, you can donate to either. They're kind of run by the same people. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. We are going to move into the post show with Maggie. The post show is for our Patreon crew. So if you are a supporter over at patreon.com/thegingerrunner, we'll see you guys in just a couple of seconds once we wrap this main show. If you are not a Patreon supporter, consider it. As little as $1 gets you access to all of the post shows, both archived, live, and then future archived shows as well. It's worth it because you get to interact with these individuals on a more individual basis, which is pretty damn awesome. Maggie, for those who are tuning in live and they want to know more about you and follow you and kind of see what you're up to, where can they find you on social media?
Instagram and Twitter is Magatron Runs. And I do have a blog. I haven't written one, but I'm sure I will soon. And that's magatron.com.
Go do it. You guys know the drill. Show Magatron some love. I love Magatron. I think when we first met Maggie, I was like, her Twitter is Magatron Runs. This is awesome.
It's Maggatron. People like to call it Maggatron. Like not like a maggot, but yeah.
Got it.
I didn't really think that out when I came up with that.
It's quite all right. I guarantee you, people will figure it out. They'll find you. And if you are wanting to follow more of Biggs, of course, there is live tracking. There's a lot of individuals who are either tweeting, like Keith Dunn is tweeting a lot of updates from them. Mm-hmm. He does as well for Barkley. But go follow live, because the live, it's fun to follow. Basically 40 minutes after the hour of every hour is when the action begins to happen. So you kind of have to hang out every hour or so until you see the results pop up, make sure they finish the loop. There's 3 individuals standing, Gavin, Johan, and Courtney, as of this live stream. We'll see who the last person standing is in an hour, in a day, in a week. We don't know. We really do not know. Big thank you to our guest, Maggie Guterl, for joining us. And Guillaume Calmettes jumped in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Laz jumped in there. Andy Pearson. Yeah. But we are going to move into the post show with Maggie. Am I forgetting anything before we do that?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Ryan. I'll see you later, whenever, in Titus.
Little family shout out. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in live to Ginger Runner Live, episode number 233, coming to you live from Big's Backyard Ultra. Not us, but our guests. We are in the comforts of our home. but we should stay up for 48 hours. What do you
Yeah.
say? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
What a cool, unique show. Really, really excited about tonight's episode. So thank you everyone for tuning in live. We'll see you guys next week for more Ginger Runner Live. That's pretty much it. Get out there, train hard, race harder, and party the hardest. I know I am.
Bye.
Ginger